it starts to rampage out across the lake and cause a lot of events that kick off in the area. So that's one little chain that's going on there. Also, you have things going on with the quaggan down at the bottom, where the quaggan are trying to capture and destroy eggs of little creatures that the crate are growing. These are like evil, basically sort of like giant barracuda and freshwater sharks, things like that the crate are raising to try to use to help defend them and to attack the quaggan. So you can go in for the quaggan and try to destroy those eggs before those creatures are able to hatch. You can also take the eggs back to the village and help the quaggan hatch them there. And if the quaggan are able to hatch them, you can defend their little hatchlings. And if you do that, the quaggan get extra defenses in their village to help them defend in this chain where the crate come and attack. There's also a fun little side chain where you get to help do some things to help out with, do we want to talk about Malagan?
Yeah, we'll talk about Malagan.
Sure, go ahead. Okay, so the quaggan worship Melandru. However, they don't really know it as Melandru. They like to call Melandru Malagan, which is very quaggan in name origin. And so they have one particularly holy quaggan who lives down here, who, if you're able to complete all of these events and help defend the quaggan and get the eggs for them, he actually does some rituals where he turns into a karma vendor, and he can help the players. He allows them to shapeshift, basically. So you've seen in the demo where players are able to turn into golems, and they get golem skills, and they can rampage around. This guy allows them to turn into fish, and they actually get to swim around as fish and have some skills that change out based on that. So that's pretty much the story of what we got going on down here.
And then we have the crate in the area who are the main bad guys. We have the crates with their sort of creatures. Do we have any other major villains in the area?
Not in this half. The highlight are further up. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any outposts for our main bases? Any Norn, any Safari?
We do not.
So once the storm starts, see which summons it, is there anything to do about it, or do you just wait it out, help them, recover from whatever it destroys?
So yeah, you help. The biggest thing that it affects is it actually affects the Hylic up here.
Right.
I think since we're going to focus on the quaggan and the crate, we'll probably stay away too much from that, although we certainly can talk a little bit about what effects we might want that to have on the quaggan.
Right.
But yeah, the big thing it does is it does a whole bunch of damage to the Hylic who live above water, where the maelstrom just comes in and trashes all the rest of that. Lots of questions, yeah.
You guys were talking about how you want players to succeed in the events. What's the percentage of success effects versus failure effects?
Well, it really depends on the players who are participating. It is true that if an event, so for example, the example of the crate going in and capturing the quaggan, if no players intervene in that, then the bad guys always win as long as no players are involved, is sort of the rule. Now, it's really just up to the players how often the bad guys get foiled in their attempts. So if players don't get there in time, or if they're not coordinating well, or if just so happens they're not very good players, or whatever, then a lot of times the events will actually succeed. So, like, I know I've definitely seen cases where, for example, the Centaurs attacking the garrison, like they've overrun the garrison while I've been in it, even with us there. So it can happen. It's the sort of thing where we don't want to make it. Again, it's that thing where you have a little bit of a range that you like to go for. Some things can be a little harder, some things can be a little easier, but you don't ever want it to be a foregone conclusion that the players will either win or lose.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering, because a lot of players are completionists, and if they go through and get all the rewards, they might go back and try to fail.
Okay, well, so this is another good thing. This is another good thing to talk about. We actually don't encourage in any way, shape, or form completionism as far as events go. We don't have a checklist of the events for people to check off. We don't have any of that stuff. And the reason we don't do that is because we don't want to encourage people to feel like I have to see every single event in the game. There are obviously going to be some players who do. And again, the reason we don't do that is because we don't want people to be like, well, I have to check off this one last event on my thing, and in order to see that event, this event has to fail. So please, everybody, make this thing fail, right? Like, we don't want that conversation to happen. And so we don't try to encourage that. So people may have seen the scout system where we put the little hearts on the map and things like that. Those are really the things that are there for completionists, and completionists can go ahead and fill in every single heart on the map and all of that sort of thing. And so I don't know if that helps answer it. Like, so what we don't want is for the event to be a foregone conclusion either way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess if we're gonna be talking about design or whatever, is there anything that says that the players can't help the Quagan push the crate completely out of their home base?
There is nothing.
There is nothing that says that.
We could design exactly that event chain if that's what you.
if that's what we decide we want to do, we can do that. So what we're going to do probably is call on some people and see who has an idea for what the basis for our event chain will be, and we'll probably write a few of them up on the board, and then we'll pick which one we like the most.
Yes.
So if a crate got a hold of a Quagan, it would sacrifice it, kill it, etc. What would happen if a Quagan got a hold of a crate? What would they do?
The Quagan would probably scream and run away.
Yeah. So the Quagan are pretty pacifistic. Unless you push them and they hulk out, and then they feel bad about it afterwards. So they actually have sort of
Quagan's so sorry.
Yeah. One of the reasons why the Quagan have been pushed up more than some of the other races is because they are kind of the sort of peaceful race that tries not to raise their hands, and whatever's happening down in the ocean has dredged up some of the really nasty races that are down there, and so yeah, the Quagan are sort of they're there for players to have sympathy for, basically. Yeah.
We have a lot of questions, so we want to just dive into
That's like half hour.
Okay, yeah, I think we're gonna have to jump into continuing to design stuff here. We're never gonna get our event chain done.
Okay, let's go.
Now,
And
the idea of leaving the Quagans on.
You wanna write it
is
up
not
there?
bad. It's not bad, just from the standpoint of we're about the level in where people are gonna
Yeah.
go to be
Why
rallying for.
don't we push, however you want to say it, scourge the crate sea base or destroy the crate base,
Okay.
capture the crate base, whatever it is. Okay, so that's one idea. Lots of ideas.
Okay,
Cool.
good.
Okay, so why don't we go with somebody who hasn't said anything yet? Is your hand up, or are you taking pictures? I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know if you're.
I'm
Yeah.
taking pictures.
Okay. Why don't we start from over here? So in the back.
Is it possible the wish that can spawn if you end up not saving the Quagan later on? Is it possible to maybe have a kind of, I guess, a good version of that for the Quagan? Is there a way to maybe help them out from a mystical angle, kind of spiritual form?
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So some way
Yeah.
to give them to kind of, I guess, recruit an entity, powerful entity to help them maybe attack.
Oh, okay.
Base.
Okay.
Since
So
they are-
in other words, do the sort of reverse of what the Sea Witch is doing to them. Yeah, you could do that. So summon Quagan.
Create a giant
Quagan
robo-shark.
Guardian. How about that? Okay. How about that?
How about Enforcer?
On the edge with the
Xander, you know.
red shirt and the Ritlock shirt.
My idea kind of incorporates the upper left as well as the lower right.
Oh, okay.
Well, you said how the Norn often asks the Savari to do stupid things.
Okay.
What if they ask them to steal Quagan eggs, and the Quagans start to become hostile? Because it said when they get angry, they become ugly and hostile.
Interesting. Okay, we can put Sylvari Raiders. Write it as that so we can remember. So you.
You've got these great towers for the crate, right?
Can we, maybe topple a tower?
We absolutely can. Yeah.
Free all the slaves?
Okay. So
This is the point in all design meetings where Jeff says,
Hey, do we have a prop for that? Do we have an animation?
Make it
yes, so we
explode.
can keep going.
Okay. Okay. So we can.
When we're asking to
Destroy
knock over-
crate towers.
Knock over a tower, basically we have to get the animation for it that will basically